Hi, welcome everybody to Sports Unfolded, episode 5.
Woohoo!
5 in the books now. I'm excited.
Real good ones in the book.
Of course. So if you haven't watched the show before, basically we are a sports talk show. We debate some topics. We talk about a lot of other topics, cover the local areas. So we are in the New England area, so we will cover mostly New England area, but we will cover some other teams as well. We are as well taking some donations. You will see a link on our page as you're watching. So if you'd like to donate to Sports Unfolded or Rhode Island Broadcasting, so we can continue to do other shows, we'd appreciate it. Just click on the link and
So put your 2 cents in.
Absolutely, which we will do right now. So let's talk about our leadoff story. Leadoff story is quarterback Deshaun Watson faces 12 civil suits currently, filed by some masseuses. All incidents allegedly happened in 2020. There's possibly 10 more lawsuits pending, so that'd be a total of 22 women that actually have accused him of some kind of sexual misconduct. This kind of changes the whole scheme of the trade talks. I can't really see him going anywhere now other than probably getting suspended. The NFL is probably going to put him on the commissioner's exemption list.
Absolutely.
And
I find it hard. If they don't, then it makes them look really bad with the Ray Rice.
Yeah, I think at this point there's way too much still question. Some investigations that have to be done. Obviously, the court proceedings that will ultimately happen as well. I think the only place he's going to be able to play football again would be in Houston. I think there's going to be the only fan base that would probably accept him.
Maybe up in Canada.
Yeah, I think he's too talented where he won't get another shot. But you got to look at the fact that look at some of the other Antonio Brown back in the league.
When are the players going to learn? Enough is enough.
And again, these are allegations, so we're not saying he's guilty or not.
Right.
But where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And
there's a lot of smoke too.
Yeah. If you're talking 22 women, I can't believe that none of them had some kind of incident with Deshaun Watson. It's a little bit of shame because the kid was a talent. We all thought he was going to be a superstar and leader in the NFL. So we'll have to see how that all turns out. But we'll keep an eye on that and obviously bring any details as they come along.
There's got to be details that's going to drop, probably every day, and it's going to get more and more into the news, and it's just going to get out here.
And Texas has an open court, so we'll get a lot of the, court proceedings and all that information. So it'll be kind of interesting to find out what exactly happened.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to something a little more positive. So we're kind of excited. Did you have something, Ron?
Yeah.
We've decided we're going to have another interview this week. We're going to the Dr. Fix-It hotline, and we're going to talk to Short Sleeve Sampson of Midget Wrestling Warriors. So if we could get Short Sleeve on the hotline.
Here he comes.
What's going on, guys?
How are you? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Great, man. Thank you for joining Sports Unfolded tonight. We appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate the invite. So thank you. And let's talk some wrestling.
Let's talk some wrestling. Our fans have asked for it, so we're bringing it to you. That's what we try to do. Short Sleeve, how long have you been in the wrestling industry, and how did your career get started?
So I've wrestled now for 21 years, and which in wrestling it's a pretty long time and everything. But I pretty much got into the business completely backwards. I didn't have any prior training or anything like that. And one night my phone rings and it's another wrestler on the local independent circuit, and he asked me if I'd be interested in doing a match. So willing to try anything at least once. I said, yeah, definitely. And he's like, okay, well, in 2 weeks, we'll have a show. And so I was kind of, confused because, again, I had no training or anything like that. So found myself 2 weeks later in the middle of a tag match and all in Connecticut for an indie promotion, and it was really cool. There was a lot of WWF stars there as well, and so when the show was over, I thanked the guy that had contacted me, and I thanked the promoter for having me and everything, and that was that. So then after that, about 2 months went by. I did another indie show, and that happened to be on a Saturday night. The following night, Sunday night, about 10:30 at night, my phone rings, and it's WWF calling me, asking me if I would be interested in and available in doing a segment the following night on Monday Night Raw. And so once I realized that this thing is legit and it's not somebody pulling a spoof on me or whatever, I'm like, yeah, sure. And so, needless to say, the following night, it was myself and the guy who got me into the business, Tiny the Terrible, in the middle of the ring at the start of Raw against the Big Show and Triple H and Shane and Stephanie McMahon, who were making fun of The Rock, and so basically, that's pretty much how, my career began.
Wow, that's incredible. And 21 years later, huh? History.
21 years later, yeah, right?
So, oh, sorry.
No.
So 21 years you've been
Yep.
in the circuit. How are you doing your training and staying fit for all these matches for this long?
I'll be honest. It's just a matter of willpower. That's really what it is. Some days you want to wake up and you want to hit the gym and all, and there's other days you have to really motivate yourself to hit the gym, especially when you're coming back from being on the road and you're tired and sore. But it's what we do. We're athletes, and to do this thing, you have to be motivated and you have to keep yourself going and keep yourself in shape and everything. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing it, somebody else is. And it's very easy to be replaced, especially in this type of business, if somebody else is bigger, better, faster, meaner, et cetera, et cetera. So that's basically what I have to do.
So you're currently part of Midget Wrestling Warriors. How did that get formed, and what's that basically all about?
Yeah, so back in 2013, I had announced I was going to be retiring because, I had pretty much had done just about everything that there was to do in the sport of professional wrestling, and I wanted to transfer over from wrestling to acting. So I had announced I was going to do a tour, and I was going to do 40 more shows and then call it quits. Well, going into 2014, I'm at the end of the tour, and basically there was an opportunity for me to begin the Midget Wrestling Warriors. And so, I talked with my wife and all, and, it was just seemed like it was the right time. So, I did it, and now the Midget Wrestling Warriors are looking at 7 years, minus the pandemic, of course. But we're going good. We're going strong.
Oh, that's great, man. Great. How do you acquire the talent for the Midget Wrestling Warriors?
Well, the nice thing about it is I was a wrestler. I mean, I still am, but and so with that, I would travel all over the place, all over the United States and Canada and things. So in doing that, I had a chance to work with a lot of these men and ladies, either personally or I would be on shows with them, and I had a chance to see how they would work and how they interacted with the fans and things like that. So basically, I kind of had a front row seat to the talent that I have. And then with the few gaps that I wasn't able to fill directly, I was able to, find them either through, other wrestlers that would recommend this person or that person, or just from, just searching on the web and finding these last couple of people.
So if Sports Unfolded wanted to get involved in the ring, and Ron was willing to jump in with one of you guys, I mean, what kind of training would he actually need? I'm just curious.
Well, I'll be honest. First, he needs to look at amputation. You know, that's something I would definitely recommend. Especially, I would kind of get his legs, amputated from the knees down. This way, at least, we can
Well,
be the
they
same
don't work.
size.
So getting them cut off might actually work for me.
I mean, but then again, you'd also have to do something with your arms because, if you get your legs chopped down, well, your hands are going to be touching the ground, so you don't want to look like a
Yeah, but I
gorilla
can
or
use
something.
that as part of my act.
So basically, it's going to be a total remodel for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, basically, if you're looking at, recasting somebody, then, you could have Ron do these things. And then, of course, there's also, the training and everything like that as well. So, I mean, you would have a whole new cast member right there.
Yeah, well, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's bring it on.
We'll have to see how this pans out. So once again, if you just joined us, we are in Sports Unfolded on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We are on Facebook and YouTube live currently with Short Sleeve Sampson of Midget Wrestling Warriors on the Dr. Fix-It hotline.
So there's a question by Tim.
Is it harder to be in wrestling with size? No offense.
No, you know what, Tim? First of all, there's no offense taken, but you know what? All right. So here's the deal. When I got into wrestling, okay, I knew I'm shorter than everybody else. I mean, let's be honest. I'm a midget wrestler. I mean, so I had a choice. I could either be, and that includes training and wrestling style and everything like that, like every other cliche midget wrestler, where you know how to do a couple of things, and then the rest of it's all comedy. And then the fans, they get their laughs and all, and then you're done, and that's it, you go home. But when I got into wrestling, I actually was training with everybody average size, and all. So with that, I decided I didn't want to just be another cliche midget wrestler, but I wanted to be a wrestler who happened to be a midget, which meant I actually wrestle with big guys and girls and guys my size and everything. So I wrestle with anybody and everybody. And by doing that, it actually made me a whole lot more marketable in this business, because let's be honest, you're only as marketable as somebody can use you or they can find talent for you. So if the opportunity for somebody is unlimited to the amount of talent that they can provide to have me work against, well, I just became a whole lot more valuable.
So it has to give a lot of respect back to you from the regular wrestlers that are there all the time. Whether they're huge or just average size or even smaller. So there has to be like a respect there because you are doing it with everybody.
There is, and I mean, obviously outside of what I'm doing with the Midget Wrestling Warriors now and everything, it's definitely, I appreciate the amount of respect that I've acquired in this business and in this industry, because of the fact that here it is, I'm going into a locker room, for example, like next month I'm actually booked out down in Texas working for a good friend of mine that runs Texoma Pro, Robert Langdon, and everything, and I'm actually booked to wrestle a big guy. And so here it is. Now we have a David versus Goliath type story that we're going to be telling in our match. And it's actually really cool because of the fact that it allows me to be more creative as as an entertainer and as a performer than just a regular, okay, we're going to, somebody's my size, so therefore we're just going to lock up, we're going to do a couple of things, and then we're going to take it home, which means the match is over. So it definitely is.
So obviously you mentioned you got some matches coming up, but how did COVID affect you this past year with the group?
Oh my goodness, COVID was horrible for me. All right, because of the fact that all I did was stay home. Besides work out, I mean, and my family stuff or whatever like that, but literally all I did was stay home. It was all shows were canceled. And for the few that were running, here or there, it wasn't worth me even trying to book myself or leave my house for them because of the fact of everything going on. So no, it was absolutely horrible. So I'm excited right now to be getting back on the road and everything. Actually, I'm here in New York, so starting next Tuesday, I get my second shot. So therefore, now I'm fully immune to everything, and I'm ready to do this. Let's do it.
Great. So what do you got planned for 2021? What can the fans look forward to from Midget Wrestling Warriors?
Yeah, so right now, the Midget Wrestling Warriors, we are booking now, and we have a show in July out in Oregon at the Seven Feathers Casino, which is July 17th. And so we just started booking, but we already have that one locked down. So there's a lot of other possibilities that have to finalize everything and get the contract signed and the deposits paid and everything. But we're actually going to have a pretty big year, and for the rest of 21 and then going into 22. So people look out, because the Midget Wrestling Warriors will probably be coming into your area.
All right, great. So if anybody wants to check scheduling or anything, or get in touch with Wrestling Warriors, how can they do so?
Yeah, so basically, the Midget Wrestling Warriors are all over social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook as Midget Wrestling Warriors. We're on Twitter at Warrior Midgets. And also, you can check us out on our website, which is Midget Warriors. That's midgetwarriors.com. And on there, we have our tour schedule. We have news. We have, the talent that we have that works with us. We have merchandise. We have, basically something for everybody on there.
All right. Well, Short Sleeve, we appreciate the time. We appreciate you jumping on Sports Unfolded tonight. Really wish you good luck in 2021. We'll be watching and seeing if we can get some matches on our Sports Unfolded.
Hey, sounds great, man. Listen, I appreciate you guys having me again, and you guys, I love what you guys are doing. So keep doing it, and Eric, you can maybe do something with Ron over there.
All right, we'll try to get him in shape and ready for a match. Once again, that's Short Sleeve Sampson joining us on the Dr. Fix-It hotline on Sports Unfolded. Thank you so much, Short Sleeve. Take care.
Thanks. See you guys later. Take care.
Take care.
Great interview there with Short Sleeve Sampson.
It was exciting.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Definitely going to be able to check that out. And we've got a match, Ron, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. Hey, I'm ready. I can go at any moment. Any moment.
Is that like you could just drop, or I'm a little nervous now?
I'll give the elbow.
All right.
Bam.
We'll have to see. Let's quickly go into some NBA. With the trade deadline approaching on March 25th, should the Celtics even bother making a trade? So the Bucks signed PJ Tucker, and Miami signed Trevor Ariza. They're currently 20-20, 7th in the Eastern Conference. There's been some chat about Brad Stevens possibly taking the Indiana University job, going back to college. Should Danny even make a move at this point, or should we just count this season as a wash?
Why bother making a move right now? I mean, look, Brooklyn's going to the championship and probably win. I don't see anybody that can really stop them. Making a trade. He's not going to help them. He's not going to help them beat Brooklyn. That's not going to happen. I mean, it's pointless for the rest of the league right now. And we keep discussing this. And I hate these super teams. Mm-hmm. And there's just no point. There's no point.
Yeah, so I think you're 100% correct on this. It just doesn't make any sense to even waste time. I mean, some of the guys that they were talking about, it's really not going to make the difference to get them over the hurdle. No. It was kind of disappointing to see, but I think they're falling apart internally. So we'll have to see how this season plays out. But I wouldn't be surprised if Brad Stevens isn't the head coach.
I believe that they're going to make a trade, but it isn't going to help. It's not going to help.
So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Let's move on to the NHL. Quick tidbit, Alex Ovechkin scored his 718th goal, passing Phil Esposito for 6th on the NHL all-time list. The question is, can he become the all-time leading scorer in NHL history?
He can. And the great part about this is I don't see him not making it to the top 3. Because personally, I think he's still playing at the top of his game. He's the best goal scorer in the league. He's got a great shot. There may be two other players that have as good as a one-timer as him, and that's Pasternak and Stamkos. Outside of that, I mean, he's going to keep scoring.
So I looked at it. He's 35 years old. I say realistically, he could play till he's 40. If he averaged 35 goals for the next 5 years,
yeah,
he passes Gretzky.
Right.
And he's averaging 47 goals a year in his career. Basically, less goals each season. For the next 5 years, he passes Gretzky. I think he's going to be the number one scorer all time in hockey.
And like I said, he won't finish outside of the top three.
He only needs 48 to be in the top three. So.
And then where would that put him in history?
Yeah, exactly. And
you
don't even think about
it. The guy can score goals, and I like his grit. Like, he's not just one of those guys that just go out there and you have to protect him. He doesn't do that. Like, he plays tough, and that's what makes him
And he's definitely missing some teeth, so he gets into some of those scrums. So.
Oh, yeah.
Now, outstanding. Great discussion. So once again, we are live on Sports Unfolded, Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook, YouTube. We are currently taking donations tonight for Rhode Island Broadcasting, Sports Unfolded. There is a link that is posted. If you're interested, even in donating a penny, but we want to be able to get some more programming, more talent onto Rhode Island Broadcasting. So anything you can do to help would greatly be appreciated. Really good broadcasting system that honestly we keep local, so we're trying to do a lot. All right, so we're going to move on to the New England Patriot news. So the New England Patriots have gone absolutely off the chart with some of these free agent signings. So basically how we're going to do it, we're going to go down the list of all the free agents that they've currently signed, and we're going to grade each one and see how they are to the overall signing.
There's been so much I actually have to put my glasses on just to make sure I can see all.
So first player we're going to discuss is Hunter Henry, tight end. I rated that a B. So I think he's a solid tight end. I think he's definitely an upgrade for the position, but the injury concerns are my only thing.
I rated him a C+ because of that injury. Look, when you read off all these players' names, they're all going to have the same thing in common. They've all played 4 to 6 years. They're all ready to hit their peak. And do I think the signing is good? Yes, I do. Looking at the numbers with that grade, that's what, you look at and you'll see the injuries. So
Matthew Judon, linebacker.
Oh my God, that to me was the best pickup the Patriots had. Like, I mean, he's a monster. Those linebacking core may be the best in the league.
I agree. I gave him an A. I think he's versatile. He's a versatile linebacker. He's a solid pass rushing threat, which is something they haven't had in years.
Absolutely.
So I think you have to really, look at some of the moves that Bill's making. It's definitely it's all across the board. It's not just offense.
No, and that's why.
Offense.
I mean, you look. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Whether it's the lines or the defensive backs, like everybody. He's touched on everything.
So how about Nelson Agholor?
Nelson Agholor, I actually like this. I gave it a B-. Again, like I keep saying, these are all guys that had modest numbers, but Belichick is counting on the fact that these guys are hitting their prime, and that's going to be the point of this whole thing. And Belichick is looking for certain players to do certain things, and he's one of them.
So I gave this a C, and the reasons why. So when he was in Philly, the Super Bowl year that they actually beat the Patriots, one of the top receivers went to Oakland. Something happened. I don't know if it was a scheme. The system just didn't work.
Right.
He's a very fast wide receiver. He's probably the fastest they're going to have on the team currently.
Yep.
The question is, can they get the ball deep? It's really not their style. So I'd have to see how it fits. So I gave it a C just based on the fact that I don't know how exactly he's going to fit into that offense.
Right, and I get that. That's that's not too far, really. With a B minus for me, it's only a few grades lower. And yeah, you're right. I'm hoping that there's another quarterback there, though. That's what I'm
That's
hoping.
a conversation all the time. How about Jonnu Smith?
I like this one. This is good. Like they needed to get tight end, right? Like this guy is projected to be the guy. Like I can see him top 3 in the league within the next 2 years.
So he has one run after catch in the league. He's one of the fastest tight ends in the league. I think this gives them a solid 1-2 punch if they both can stay healthy and be on the field. This guy loves to block. So if you think about that Grunk mold, right? That's
You're missing Grunk.
Yeah, right. So that's exactly what we got with this pickup. It's clearly an A. He's not injury prone. I think this gives them a legitimate tight end for the next 4 years.
Absolutely. That's right in line with what I think. And this guy, he's got this guy's going to let red zone. This is the guy in the red zone.
Yes.
I mean,
some of the highlights they showed that catch at Baltimore in the back where he's got just a one-handed grab, like you can see he's got the hands, he's got the speed. This is going to be such a good sign.
You think about all those times that Cam Newton at least got them to a field goal. Those things.
How much time do we have to really review that?
Those things, well,
because it wouldn't be
those times. No, like they got field goals, like instead of touchdowns, a lot this past season, and that could change it. Having him in there could change that.
Jalen Mills, safety. So I gave this one an A. And the reason why I gave it an A, and I just upgraded it, Patrick Chung recently announced his retirement. This is the guy that fills his shoes. This is the guy that is versatile. I think he's actually a little better than Chung when it comes to he can play the slot receivers, he can play safety. There's some concerns about his speed, but depending on how they use him.
He's an up-and-comer. One interception for I believe the last 2 seasons, one each. Again, this is a guy that he's not going to be alone back there. So there's going to be times where they're going to have to throw the ball to his side. And I think that one interception is going to turn into 4.
Yeah, I think he's
going to have a phenomenal year. I think he's going to explode. And A- for me. Not quite an A, but I like this kid. That was one of the guys that I was hoping they would sign.
Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver from San Fran. Wasn't too impressed with this signing. I gave him a C.
C+ for me as well. So.
I have heard he's a lot like Myers, Jacoby Myers. So I just don't know. I think this pick honestly hinges on what Julian Edelman does. Jules is around. This guy is probably going to play the slot. That may upgrade him a little bit, make him a B in that area. But we have to see what Jules is going to do.
I hop on it again. This is a guy that I think that hoping brings it to another level. I'm not sure he can, but maybe Belichick has him in there for that slot receiver, and that's what I think is going to happen. But I don't know if he can be, Julian.
No,
I don't think that's happening.
Davon Godchuk.
I actually don't like this one.
Okay.
I gave it a C-, borderline D+. I just don't think he's going to do anything, to be honest with you. I think he's going to ride the bench.
So they lose Lawrence Guy, who's a big key in that defensive line. He still hasn't signed, and I won't say nothing's possible anymore because every time I say a guy's going, Bill's coming back and re-signing him. But if he has to be that guy, I gave it a B. He knows the system from Miami with Flores down in Miami, and they're kind of similar. So I think he can make an impact. To your point, it's just going to see his work ethic and what he does. I know he was out last year with an injury after, I think, for 5 games. So
I'm a little concerned about it.
So we'd have to see how he comes back from that. So I agree with you. It could probably be a C overall. It's another defensive lineman.
I actually like Henry Anderson. I give it a B. I think with Anderson, I think there's going to be a lot riding on what he did a couple of years ago. You know, the transition from 2017, he had, you know, a bunch of sacks in 2017, but then things went wrong for a couple of years. So now can he get back to that level? I'm hoping yes. I'm praying yes. But, you know, I mean, again, it's 2 years, actually 3 years removed. So we're looking at 3 years. I'm thinking it is 2020, but we missed 2020. So
that was a blur.
So 3 years from when he had a good season.
So
right? This is a reclamation project.
I would say this. I gave it a B. Again, borderline C, B minus.
Right.
I just feel like maybe with better coaching. Again, we talked about New York and their coaching, and what they did to a lot of players. Bill Belichick likes this guy. He faced him twice a year. Must have seen something in those.
And he does that, right? Like when he looks at a player, they might not be good in the system that they're in, and Belichick, this is what I'm hoping, you know, gets back to that form, and we don't know if being with the Jets damaged him.
Well, we'll have to see if Bill can bring him over that. What about the key signing that's recently Kyle and Noah?
I love this signing. Love it. I gave it an A minus. I mean, just to put him with Judon and like, come on. Like, these guys are going to get numbers. Like, these guys are going to be disrupting everybody. That is fantastic. He knows the system, like you said. And I can't understand why Miami let him go.
Yeah.
Like, he is going to give you 6 sacks. Like, he's going to be in there all day long.
Play the pass coverage. He can do a lot for you.
Yeah.
Again, knows the system. I gave it an A. I think this was such a good move for Bill because now it gives him time to, you know, basically let them nurture Uche and Winovich, who's starting to come up. So there's a lot of great linebackers that are going to help these young kids as well. So I'm really excited about Kyle Van Noy coming back to New England.
Tim thinks that Bill lost it when Brady left. You watch. That's all I can tell you.
I would say this to Tim. Tom Brady wouldn't have won with this team last year. There was no talent. If you look at the talent they've acquired now, they would go back to the Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about some of the returning players. So they re-signed Nick Folk.
I actually love this. Like, he missed 2 field goals, and they were more than 40 yards. One was actually over 50. Like, anything under 40, this guy's got it. He's got it. This is a great signing. Like, I mean, hey, we've had some good kickers. I mean, great kickers.
We've been lucky for a long time.
So, like, Nick Folk, he didn't ask, I don't care, because if he's playing like this, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I used to cover my eyes when he kicked. And last
yes!
season, he finally made me start to see that he's a quality kicker.
Yes.
He still scares me a little bit. I gave it a B. I feel like I'm hoping that the trend he was on last season, he continues and not, you know, falls back to where he was.
Yeah, I gave him an A minus. Like, I mean, he did a great job. He did a great job. You can't vote him. I mean, put touchdowns. So
Dietrich Wise, defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a role player. Like, that's what he is. He's a role player. And I give a C plus. Like, I mean, you can't have stars at every position. But a player like Wise, I mean, you're looking at around, like, this is what happens. You get all those stars, they have to go somewhere else. You know, and you get Wise, look, I think he's going to have a pretty decent year because of the stars that are around him now. And that usually propels other players because they got some guys here that are going to make stars out of other players because they're so good.
Yeah, so I think the key pieces with the linebackers,
Right.
He could have a solid year.
Yeah.
I think there's still upside with this guy, and I'm surprised that it hasn't moved quickly or quicker. So I'm hoping to see that we see a little bit more.
I was a
from
little
this
tentative
season.
with the C plus.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I gave it a B, and I think I'd agree more with you that it's probably a C at this point. He just needs to change a little bit more of that motivation, I think, with the right guys around him.
Yeah.
Ted Karras. I had to change this grade. So originally I gave this grade an A because I really thought that Dave Andrews was going to be gone. I said, this is great for New England to at least keep a guy that knows the system, offensive line. But he's a good role player. He can play guard. He can play center. I think this is a solid signing. It's probably the B minus, where they can plug and play him when needed if injuries. But overall, I mean, it's not overwhelming. It's not going to wow you.
No, I put it a C plus because of the versatility. Look, I don't see him like. Hopefully, I see him as a starter. You know,
barring injuries. Yeah.
Right, barring injuries. But I see him giving people a break, and it's like all across the line. So he could play a lot, just filling in those spots, and he's good enough to do that. Give somebody a little break, a play or two, and he's capable. He's capable, and again, a role player that's going to fill in as a backup.
Justin Bethel. This is one of my favorite signings, and I don't know why, but I'm going to tell you that I just see that Matthew Slater is probably a year or two away from retirement. I don't see him playing past that. Bill Belichick has always been a coach that preaches special teams, all three phases of the game. How great of a signing is this, though, to lock up this guy now? He's basically replacing Slater.
Yeah.
And we don't need him to do anything else. We need him to basically be down there on coverage. He makes the plays. He's always always down.
How much did they pay for him?
Good question. I'm sure you have that stat.
No, I don't. I don't have the question because, I don't want to overpay for a backup to Slater on special teams.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't paid a top.
So, I mean, that's all he can do is special teams because he's not good anywhere else.
But what does Matthew Slater do for you?
Exactly.
So this is the guy. Watch.
So if they got him cheap, I'd have to look up what he got paid.
We'll have to check it next week. We can discuss it.
I wouldn't want to pay him a lot. That's for sure.
And recently signed Dave Andrews, center.
Oh, I mean, come on,
four-time captain.
Look, he's the captain of that line.
Yes,
You can't replace stuff like that. I mean,
this is an A+.
Especially losing, some of the players on that line that go, maybe like Kansas City or something.
Yeah. Tooney went to Kansas City, but we got Trent Brown back.
Yeah.
So I think they're solid on the line. I think this line's just as good as it's ever been.
I think that offensive line is actually pretty good, and especially fixing the wide receiver, tight end positions. That's going to make that line even better because you're going to have help now. And, well, hopefully Cam doesn't get killed back there.
Yeah, so I think it's all going to depend on Cam. So, I mean, ultimately, all these guys that we've graded tonight realistically could be great or they could be horrible. It's really going to be based on the quarterback play and how Cam Newton performs going forward. So we'll have to see. But if you don't agree with our grades, feel free to reach out to us on Rhode Island Broadcast Cam. We're not going to grade it. Do you want to grade Cam?
I think we should.
Okay, let's grade the Cam signing.
All right. First of all, I gave it a B. Based on his numbers last year,
ladies and gentlemen, please chime in right now.
He was terrible. And I still don't want Cam as our starting quarterback this year. But he has to do better, right? You would think that with all these signings, you have to be better.
Tim, thank you.
But if he goes out there and he starts chucking the ball all over the place and it doesn't hit receivers, then we know who it is, right?
I am not a Cam Newton fan. But, I can't fault him for what the talent he had around him.
No, and I'm giving him some credit.
Let's see with some talent around him.
I didn't give him an F.
He could be. Yes, thank you.
I gave him a D.
I don't know if I could agree with that. Real quick before we go off to our next topic on the pick and roll, I wanted to try to shoot out to the fans here for the face-off so that we can start getting the votes in ahead of time on who they want to, side of this. So basically, the face-off will be about, will the New England Patriots be back in the playoffs next season? And who would you like for or against that? If you want to vote before once we finish our next segment, we'll cast those. We'll count those votes, and that's how we'll debate that topic. But we're going to go on to the pick and roll. I know this is one of your favorite.
I love it.
You love the pick and roll. It's one of the favorite segments. So we discussed all those New England pickups, but basically, which team other than the Patriots have had a better offseason? And these are the 6 teams that we decided to look at, and we'll rank them from 6 to 1. Arizona, Buffalo, the New York Jets, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the San Francisco 49ers. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can definitely go first. I mean, I don't mind.
It'll
give you an opportunity to change your mind.
Oh, okay, let's see. Let's see if he can change our mind.
So, all right. So 6, I have Las Vegas. Okay, so their big thing was entitled. They have more problems. It's one of the many holes they have. So I thought they did a terrible job. Not as bad as some other teams like Carolina, but they did not do well. One player, yes, he's a great player, but I mean, you have many problems right now. They're destined for nothing. 5, I picked San Francisco because they did re-sign Trent Williams, and they got Mosley and Ebukam. Is that how to pronounce his name? Ebukam?
I'm sure.
But they got a linebacker and a cornerback, so they got some defense. And they also, shored up their offensive line. I can't think of who it was off the top of my head.
Mac.
Yes. So I think they're going to try to protect Garoppolo because that's what I'm getting out of this. So I don't think that they're going to trade Garoppolo. I think they're going to go with him one more year and see what happens. So I think they did some good stuff, just not a whole bunch, but they did some good stuff. I have the Jets number 4, and I'll tell you why. Because they were terrible. So you can't, right? So just with the signings that they got, I mean, you're looking at these guys. They helped themselves out at wide receiver. Yep. Davis, great pickup.
Yeah, Corey Davis.
Lawson they picked up for defensive end.
Yep.
So I mean, they did some good things. New coach, right?
Yes. Yep.
That in itself.
That's 3 or 4 more wins just on that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, they improved. They had a pretty good offseason. Whether they can win is another story, but that's besides the point. But they did improve. And number 3, I did Arizona.
Oh.
And I thought they were going to be my top.
Okay.
And then I started analyzing the other teams, and I changed my mind on that. But I mean, J.J. Watt. They got Prater as a kicker now. And A.J. Green, 3rd receiver on that team. That's ridiculous.
I think it's great.
It is. So I think that they're going to push for a NFC championship. They're going to push for it. They're not going to get it, but they're going to push for it.
As some team down in Florida.
Yeah. Re-signed everybody. And number 2, I put Jacksonville for the
2, okay.
Yep, because Arizona was 3.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I put number 2.
Okay.
I mean, Griffin and Jenkins, those signings for this team. And they, of course, built up their wide receivers and defensive line, and they did a lot to help themselves. So I put Jacksonville number 2 because they improved themselves the most out of those other teams. And number 1, Buffalo, because I think they actually might have put themselves in a position to go to the Super Bowl.
I think there's a team in New England that might.
Yes, but they put themselves in the position. So, I mean, re-signing Milano was huge because if he was gone, that would have been it for Buffalo.
Very good linebacker.
They signed Williams. They signed Emmanuel Sanders. So shoring up that offense. They showed up on. They signed Wallace for cornerback, and I think they just improved their overall team, maybe 6-7 spots on their roster. Improved, and shoring up that, the defensive backs and stuff. That's big because you have to go up against Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I think they did enough to do that.
Yeah, and they didn't do a good job on the in the AFC Championship game.
No, they did not.
No, really good. So believe it or not, we had 4 out of the 6 the same. It's just pretty funny because usually we're never close on the pick and roll. We haven't been close yet.
Usually we'll get like the second to the bottom.
Yeah. So I had Vegas at 6. I agree with you. I think their main struggle. So everybody wanted to talk about the Drake signing, the running back. They didn't need help on offense. They needed help on defense. They haven't really done much defensively yet. I don't think they have a lot of money to play with, so I can't see that as much of an improvement. They did sign one of the best defensive linemen that were available in free agency, which is great, but he needs some players around him to help out. So
Yeah.
5th, I had San Francisco. Agree with you. I think they showed up the line, re-signed their fullback. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
Yeah, no.
So again, some defense they need to add continuously. Good. I think as long as they can focus on the run game and not make Jimmy have to win for him, I think
that's what they do.
They're going to be solid, and I think that's what they were trying to build up. So I see it. Jets, I had at 4. I like the Lawson pickup. I like the 2 wide receivers. Again, question's going to be Sam Darnold. Are they keeping Darnold? Are they trying to get a quarterback with the 2nd overall pick? That can make a difference on how these signings go. I don't think a rookie quarterback going in with veteran wide receivers is a good move. Probably keep Donald and see if maybe more talent, better talent around.
Maybe they want Watson.
Nobody wants Watson.
The Jets are dysfunctional, so they might go after him.
If somebody goes after Watson, I'd be shocked. Number 3, I had Buffalo. And again, I think they did enough. I like the Emmanuel Sanders signing. Trubisky, who I think, again, is a quality backup now to learn. But Allen's pretty much locked that spot up.
Oh, yeah.
So unless an injury, but at least there's something to back them up.
And I think that's what they were thinking by signing Trubisky.
And they were a good team. They're a very good team. I think they're close to your point. I mean, Kansas City, I'd throw New England into that mix now as one of the top teams in the AFC.
Well, yeah.
Based on Cam Newton's play. So it'd be interesting to see. I gave them 3. Jacksonville, I went 2. Agreed with you on that as well. 11 players signed. Definitely went heavy on the defense. Urban Meyers, I think, is going to make a difference. They're going to Trevor Lawrence is going to be the number 1 pick.
I didn't even remember Urban Meyer.
So if you think about where they're heading, Urban Meyer is a very good offensive coach. They picked up some defense. I think they're going to make some moves. Obviously, they're not going to be a contender probably this season, but I like what they did. I like what they picked up.
The process that they've started now, like you see that defense is going to be pretty good, but then they might not be able to score. But
so and then I have my number 1 team was Arizona. So this was surprising that you didn't pick Arizona.
I was going to. I had it there.
Kyler Murray, I'm a fan. I think the kid's special. DeAndre Hopkins. That's why you add AJ Green to that mix.
Yeah.
Offensively, I think they're in really good shape. JJ Watt, we talked about it with Chandler Jones. I think that defensive tandem is going to be solid and cause some problems in the NFL. Prada, again, shows up the kicking game.
Right. So, I mean, to me,
this is a young team that's on the rise. They're going to compete. I agree. I think Tampa Bay's the team to beat. We talked about super teams.
They signed everybody but Fournette at this point, right?
Yeah, and Antonio Brown. So, I mean, that's it. They're loaded.
Look, Arizona to me, maybe the best team out of all of those teams. I went with Arizona 3rd because they didn't improve as much as Buffalo and Jacksonville did. Yes, they.
So I agree, but I looked at the pieces that they put in place and what they already had, and I think that elevates.
But it was the improvement. Was the reason why we're doing it. So I'm just clarifying that. The reason is the improvement.
All the time, but Arizona fans, you let us know who won the pick and roll. Once again, we are on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We are live. It's Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. You can join us there at Sports Unfolded. So take a peek there and hit us up on social media.
Yes, and share everything too. Share.
Very important. We did put a link up, so if you have time to donate, please, we ask that anything you can give to help Rhode Island Broadcasting, Sports Unfolded, and all the other shows that are on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We'd love to do some more stuff and get some more talent in.
And become a VIP. Like, you get all the content from behind the scenes.
And we talked about the possibility of even joining the show.
Yes.
Debating with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tim, I'm surprised. You
Tim,
claim to be like the super fan over here.
I think Tim to either one of us. I mean, I love Tim, but he goes all over the place. Tim, we got to stay in one spot, Tim. Please. Just choose Eric every time. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
If you want to be wrong.
Well, let's see the face-off here, because last week I finally pulled out my first victory.
Yes, out of 4.
Fans have voted.
Out of 4.
We're not going to discuss.
But you gave me an impossible one. I mean, I couldn't. How was that?
If you are that good at debating, Ron, you would have won that.
There was no debate.
So we didn't get any fan votes. So a little disappointing. I'm going to turn it over to my producer, Kel. Kel, who's arguing that the Patriots will make the playoffs, and who's voting? Who's debating against?
Eric against.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me.
All right, Ron. I always kill Ron.
No, I like it. All right.
He killed me last week.
He wants to see you win again. That's all. But let's. You want to lead off, or you want me to lead off?
I'll lead off.
All right, you're up, and 1 minute's on the clock. Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready. I don't need to be ready for this one.
All right, and go.
Okay, so there's only, 3 good teams in the whole conference? So you put all those players that we just talked about, and there were a lot of A's and B's on those signings. All those players, maybe 15 players that they just added? 15 players they added. They were 7-9. You, my friend, said this anyway. They're going to win 3 or 4 more games easily. 3 or 4 more games easily. It doesn't even matter. I'm at the point it doesn't even matter who's quarterback right now. They're making the playoffs. Just fit them in there. I don't care. You can put anybody in there. They're making the playoffs. Anyone. Kel, producer, you can go in there and you can win and go to the Super Bowl.
Kel, throw football.
I don't even need any more time.
All right, I love it. All right, so I'm going to be on the clock. I'm ready, and I'll go. So you want to make the argument that I've argued that they can only improve 3, 4, 5 games, correct? You've made that same argument back that Cam Newton is probably the worst quarterback they've had in the last 20 years, because we know who they had prior to that. So to my defense, basically what I would say to you is this: if you're saying Cam Newton is as bad as he is, regardless of the talent that's around him, they're still a 7-9 football team. On top of that, if you think about in the past how many players Bill Belichick has brought into the system, and they haven't worked out because they just couldn't figure it out. I still think they're weak at the wide receiver position. Yes, they picked up some tight ends, but again, how far can Cam Newton throw the football to make a difference? We're not going to utilize wide receivers. It's pointless. Running back still a question mark. I still feel like, again, at this point, they're a 7-9 team with Cam Newton as their starting quarterback, according to Ron. So unless you're saying you're wrong, then I won that argument. Thank you.
No, I just get done saying, any quarterback can go in there and win with this team.
You told me Cam Newton's a quarterback.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So vote on Facebook at Sports Unfolded. Vote on Twitter at Sports Unfolded. Rhode Island Broadcasting. Shoot us a message right now who you feel won that debate. Clearly, it was me again.
No, not even close.
I'm just going to
move. You don't even believe it.
I'm going to move right up there. Next week I tie it. That's how I'm looking at it.
No, I doubt it.
Let's move on to our predictions. So our predictions currently, I am crushing you in predictions. I'll tell you that much.
It's not that much difference.
I'm crushing.
It's you're 6-1, not counting a couple of games that we haven't tallied up.
Okay.
And and I was 3-4.
But you're at 500.
But I gave
I'm
you
well
one,
over
yes. And you're not. It's normally like 3 games, like real.
All right, NBA, March 21st, Lakers at the Suns.
Okay, really? We're gonna do that?
Yep.
So Lakers.
Okay. I'm going Suns.
Good, you go Suns.
And I'm going to tell you
and there's one more that I catch
Chris
up.
Paul, Booker,
Yep.
solid. Those guys are starting to play. Lakers are going to come down there. I know they've played well recently, but they're coming down there. Nets at the Trailblazers.
Okay, Brooklyn.
There we go. See, you know what I'm going to do? It's Dame time. Dame time.
Okay, Brooklyn
Dame,
could run the table.
No team can do it. They got to lose games occasionally. They're on the road. I'm going with the Trailblazers. West Coast trip.
Do that.
West Coast trip.
Yeah.
NHL 321. Panthers at Lightning.
That's a good one.
Very good game.
But they're at Tampa Bay, so I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
All right. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think that you are correct. We'll go Lightning. What about, I had to throw this in there, 323 Islanders at
Okay,
Boston.
so they're 0-4.
0-4. And the last time we did this prediction, you said they're going to get off the snide now. This is the game. Is this the game, Ron?
So, no, you predict this one first.
I am going Islanders again.
I know you're going Islanders.
I'm going Islanders again.
And you're going to be wrong.
Okay.
First of all, their captain is out for the year.
0-4.
So, well, they're already 0-4, but this is going to be the one. And in fact, the
0-4.
Bruins are going to win by 3.
0-4. Ladies and
Bruins
gentlemen,
by
0-4.
3. Mark my words.
Okay. 0-4. Going to be 0-5.
The Bruins.
All right. Great show tonight.
I'm going to gain 3 games on you this week. So we're going to be tied.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to be tied.
I am the prediction master. Remember that.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, wanted to thank Short Sleeve Sampson for joining us tonight on the Dr. Fix-It hotline. Great interview with Midget Warriors Wrestling. Really excited to have him on board as a we are a fan, and it was very nice to have. Last week we had Providence Pirates Paul on, and that was a great interview as well. So we thank Paul as well for helping our show along. If you have an opportunity, do donate. We do have the link up. We are looking for donations for our show, for Rhode Island Broadcasting. We'd love to do some more, get a new studio, new setup. We're trying to do a lot of different things, get some new shows, new talent in as well. So if you're interested in even, starting a show, get in touch with Rhode Island Broadcasting and we'll see if there's something we can do for you. So always looking for some interesting new ideas out there. So what we normally do is close out the show. We go with our final thought. Ron, I'll let you go first on our final thought.
Sure. Code of conduct. We have one in the NFL. There's one in the NHL. There's one in the NBA. There's one in the MLB. When are the players going to be more responsible for their own actions? Sean Watson, a star in this league, a star in the league, and you've got so many allegations about you. They're bound to be true. I don't know if they're true. I don't know. We don't have all the facts yet. But when there's this many, there's a problem. So you're putting yourself in those positions, even if they're not true, you're putting yourself in those positions. When are you going to learn? You can go out and party like Gronk does. Gronk doesn't get into his trouble. You gotta respect a guy like that. When are you gonna learn? All these players, and it's across sports, soccer, but it doesn't matter. There's probably some guy curling that's probably doing the same things. Code of conduct. Start conducting yourself the right way. And then you become a legend, like Tom Brady. You become a legend. Watson is going to be such a waste of talent. It's kind of sickening.
Yeah. No, great point. Thank you. So my final thought, honestly, is it's a plea to the fans. So I know we get heated sometimes and we say stuff to players, especially once we get back into the arenas and some of the things that they've done. But we've also got to remember they're human beings, that they have families and things that go on in their life. And the reason why I brought that up is because Keyshawn Johnson recently lost his daughter, who was 25 years old. And I think about my own family and my own kids and how devastated I would be. And sometimes these fans go a little bit across the lines and talk about people's family members and things like that. You should never wish death or harm on anybody. You don't like them as a player, feel free to say something about how they're playing, but leave the personal stuff out of it because, again, at the end of the day, they're still human beings and they deserve that respect. We've got to get back as a society to understanding that, we're all human beings and we need to just try to get along on that aspect of it. You don't have to like a player. You don't have to like a team. Doesn't mean you have to hate their family or wish harm on their family. So I wish Keyshawn the best. Our condolences from Sports Unfolded, and hopefully, he gets through this as best as he can. That's our show for the night. Once again, we are in Rhode Island Broadcasting. We were live tonight. We want to thank all the fans that joined us live tonight and chimed in. We appreciate any donations that have been given to us tonight. Once again, we are taking donations to try to help our show, improve, but also get Rhode Island Broadcasting some new talent and new studios and a lot of things that we're excited about coming up in the future. You can join us check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Sports Unfolded, Instagram at _Sports Unfolded. So a lot of cool things going on there at Rhode Island Broadcasting. So we've got a lot going on. Once again, we appreciate all our live viewers tonight, and you, the fans, have a great night.
Take care.